Hey guys, this is Endrick here, and today we have some some news and potentially a couple more persons, or actually at least one person that I feel that we should be all over for. Okay, the big news from yesterday, right? If you have been following along over the last 12 hours or so, is that Eddie Howe has left his job as a Newcastle manager. Okay, if you ask me whether Liverpool has something to do with it, I think we do. Okay, whether it's directly or indirectly, it's probably because of the transfer window. Because if you ask me, a lot of it all started right. Okay, when Newcastle were, I mean, under the new Saudi owners, they have been trying to beef up their squad. Their targets included Hugo Ekitike, okay, and but that of course didn't happen. Okay, they were hoping to have Alexander Isak as well as Hugo Ekitike playing together, but that's not going to be the case because now both of them are here with us at this point. Okay, so that's probably one of those. They are losing targets left and right now, which is probably the reason why, right? Okay, the probably Eddie Howe may not want to have anything to do with Newcastle anymore. Yes, it is stated that he's under the brink, but my impressions is right. He probably is a little bit pissed off the owners, especially that it's allowing a lot of their members to go. Okay, because you can kind of pretty much like see the writings on the wall for him. Okay, yeah. Yes, he had a bad campaign. Yeah, he had a bad like a season last year, but also had to partially do with the board as well. Okay, because later on earlier in this particular summer window, okay, they lost Anthony Gordon. Okay, they lost Sandro Tonali, and lately as well, right? You must also account they were also after Victor Munoz. If you have been reading the news and following along, right, when Anthony Gordon is already like stated to leave for Barcelona in earlier July, they have been trying to find replacements for it, and Victor Munoz was the number one target that Newcastle was after. And you know what happens, right? Zero links, okay, nothing at all. We just went inside and just do a hijack on Victor Munoz. And yeah, and of course, if you have been following along, right, okay, Bruno Guimaraes is the next potential member that's probably leaving Newcastle, most likely going to Arsenal. As far as I've been seeing over at the indicator, okay, that deal is pretty much done. Okay, that deal to Arsenal with Bruno Guimaraes is pretty much done. Okay, so yeah, and I think and like Liverpool has something to do with this domino effect for Eddie Howe. Okay, whether it's also combining with his bad season or what, and his bad like bad coaching. Yes, okay, it remains to be seen, but I certainly have that impression that might be the case. Yes, he was good for Bournemouth when he was there. I always liked the guy when he was in Bournemouth. But when you're stepping up over to like a much bigger side, right? Let's just say Newcastle, okay, like that's taken by Saudi, right? Okay, you find yourself pretty much out of your depth pretty damn quick. Okay, so it's the same way when you're talking Xabi Alonso, okay, out of Bayer Leverkusen, step out to Real Madrid, now to Chelsea already, okay, and of course Arne Slot from Feyenoord over to Liverpool, okay, all their second spells, whatever case may be, right, in the next club or bigger club, right, just hasn't gone down well, okay, so that is probably be the case of Eddie Howe, alright? Let's just put it that way, okay? The person that I really wish to talk about, right, and some person that we should be all over for is Endrick, okay? Speaking of Real Madrid, okay? Endrick is the next person, right, okay, that's not really part of the plans over in Jose Mourinho's camp, okay? There's been a lot of talk with regards to Endrick that's probably want to leave like this summer, okay? And there's a reason why for a profile like Endrick would make absolute sense for Liverpool. Okay, I am personally not super sold at Endrick. Let's just get it out of the way. But while waiting on some potential targets, right? Okay, while waiting for Hugo Ekitike, while also waiting on a more permanent solution on right wing, okay, I would say we should go for Endrick. Because you think about Real Madrid, they're attacking profile, their attacking depth is actually stacked. Okay, you think Vini Jr., you think Kylian Mbappe, you think Rodrigo, you think Arda Güler, you think Gonzalo Garcia, most probably going to Fulham. Okay, you thinking Brian Diaz, you think Franco Mastratuono, okay, who that's also going to Fulham most probably. Okay, even if they lose two of their members, right, and they lose another one, they are absolutely fine. Okay, their attacking depth is totally stacked, so it was not really any point for Endrick to be sent further down the pecking order, okay, with regards to having these two forwards. Okay, you have Vinny Junior, Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, Arda Güler, supported by Jude Bellingham. It's enough, okay? It's enough for Real Madrid. But for us, we do need like an interim solution while waiting for Hugo Ekitike, as well as a permanent right wing solution. Because you think about it, right? Endrick's profile, he is more as a striker, but he does play as a right winger as his secondary role, okay? So while waiting on the interim or a stopgap, to me it makes more sense to sign Endrick, maybe not as a permanent deal. I would say more as a interim, like a season long loan, maybe even 2 seasons or something like that. I really feel that we should be all over Endrick. As much as I would say I am not totally sold on that guy, but I think he is definitely a good profile for the job. Just to let you know what is his profile like, okay, he's only 20, he still has a lot of time on his hands, right, to get some like goals and minutes into his belt, okay. Last season he was sent to Leon, okay, he scored 8 goals in his 21 apps, okay. Real Madrid, he didn't do particularly so well. I mean, he played 37, scored 7, not exactly the best profile for Endrick, and he's meant to be a long-termer over Real Madrid, but while waiting on his interim, right, what to get minutes elsewhere, he should be playing still, okay, because Endrick, a lot of people may not like him. Personally, I'm sold on him, but I think he will fit the profile of what we need. So I would say and I will still say, right, I'll still say it again, okay, Barcola, as much as I do like the guy, he is not a right winger in my books, okay? He's more primarily a left winger rather than a right winger. He can play across the front line, okay? No doubt he can. And the thing is, right, you don't go plugging in square pegs into round holes, okay? Yeah, it just doesn't work, okay? At least in the long term, yeah? So I would say, right, Barcola and Rio Engamora are still my left wingers, okay? I said it before in my yesterday's video, right, okay? Rio didn't look particularly that super comfortable in the right wing, okay? But also partially it was due to the pitch being a little bit on the tiny side. So I would say, yes, he can play a little bit on the right winger. He did show he can over in the England squad, but that is still not my main switcher. He's not it, okay? Rio Engamora is not in on right wing, let's put it that way. So if you want to put it as an interim, okay, I would say Endrick fits more of a right winger style profile than Rio Engamora and Bradley Barcola. Okay, let's just put it that way first. Okay, so yeah, I would say sign Endrick, season long loan, maybe for 2 seasons loan, but yeah. Okay, and of course Eddie Howe the news, okay, whether we have anything to do with it, to me yes, okay, whether directly or indirectly there. So yeah, quick video for some sorts there. I really wish I can bring more videos, especially because there's really nothing much in regards to transfers. We really should get a move on, really, because time is of the essence. We are only like 3 weeks before the season starts and we still have so many holes. And I say again, we need at least 6 members, 6 new signings, okay, to actually come and join us at this point in time. We really need that preseason because, right, a lot of them, right, who have been involved in the World Cup, right, will not have a preseason yet, okay. You would think people like McAllister, he is yet to be involved, okay. Victor Munoz is probably not going to join us until a little bit later on as well, okay. Yeah, and maybe even Bradley Barcola, alright, for that matter too. We just need more members in the meantime right now because season starting in 3 weeks and we don't have the members yet, okay. We still don't have centre backs, okay, as far as the first team goes. One of them, okay, can't really play, okay, because didn't earn enough for the work permit, okay, and while we're still stuck with only 1 academy and Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk has yet to join the squad just yet. I'm not too sure whether he'll be involved on Sunday, but most probably next week he will be. So yeah, that's our depth. It's shallow, okay. We need members both at the back and both in the front, and maybe one more in terms of the defensive midfield role, because we have yet to fill up that Fabinho spot that has been vacated over the last 4 years already. And really, right, whoever that has been plugging in lately hasn't really worked. So we really need members like immediately, okay. Do your job, FSG, man, okay. A lot of people have been so pissed off with you over the last 4 weeks or so. We haven't had a single movement in and single peep at all ever since Victor Munoz. So get your ass moving, okay, or else blood will be on your hands if Liverpool doesn't do well here, okay, because Ariola has said many times he needs signings because his defense line is thin, his winger line is a bit thin as well. So we really do need those signings ASAP, like literally now. Okay? Alright, so that's it about this video. If you're new around here, do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I hope I can bring you more news updates coming up soon. Alright, okay, peace out guys.